If you have been watching some of my content, you would have seen that I have basically stopped using Cursor IDE in all of my videos. And that is not only true for the content creation part, what I show you in the videos, but that is also true for something that I don't show you in the videos. And it's not like Cursor is bad or anything, but there are some nuanced takes to this, some things that we need to learn. And in this video, I want to spend a little bit of time going into that. Alright, so first things first, I just want to break into what people are doing today, how they are coding today. The first set of developers that are there, they are using IDEs like I showed you, Cursor, VS Code, all of that. The second kind of developers that are there, they are using terminals, right? This is where, terminal AI agents are being used. And the third kind of developers that are there, they are using dedicated GUI for agents, right? Now this could be something like Codex GUI, right, from OpenAI. Now see, every system has their own pros and cons, and in this video I want to walk you through my own personal experience and what do I really feel. See, I'm an old school guy, I'm an old school developer, and I like to work with IDEs. That makes me comfortable, the syntax highlighting, having multiple files opened, being able to click through context and seeing like everything in one go, that brings me comfort. And even doing code review changes, right? What change the AI agent has done, I would ideally want to do that in an IDE instead of, in a terminal or any other provider, like a static screen. So one thing that is there for sure is that I do like an IDE. It's not like I don't like IDEs at all. It's just that I don't see Cursor as a valuable subscription now. See, the fundamental thing with Cursor always had been, their harness and the comfort. Right? So the harness is basically, how it's able to use the AI agent and the models that it has to perform a lot of things, including like auto tabs, the tab thing, and the comfort that you have with an IDE, right? Which is like, shortcuts and stuff that you're able to do, the UI, UX, all of that. Now, what I feel very lately is that most of my AI agent and AI coding happens on terminals, right? Not in UIs. Specifically for me as a developer, when I'm doing a lot of these workflows, I am majorly using terminal-based AI agents for making all the changes, the big ones, creating a feature, all of that. Then my workflow would be switching to an IDE to do a code review of every single file change, right? And that can even be happening parallelly as the AI is making change. So I would have tell an AI on the terminal itself that you have to work on this feature. I will launch a second AI that will do the same thing in some other part of the code base. And I would be the one who is monitoring both of their work. And I would keep on instructing those AI inside the terminal. Now for this, I don't really need Cursor because it's an overkill. First of all, of course, I don't need the subscription really. And second of all, the UI also is it's an overkill now, right? Because it's a little bit too much for me, for the workload and the use cases that I have to do. So I have shifted very long back to VS Code, right? And that is what you also see in most of my videos now. Whenever I open up an IDE, you would probably see that's VS Code. It's not Cursor. It's not anything like that. However, one big thing, which is a problem with VS Code, is that their AI harness is not really good. But VS Code as an IDE is extremely flexible. It's extremely powerful. It's extremely open source. That is how Cursor is also built on. That is how a lot of other IDEs were built on as well. That means that anything that any state-of-the-art other IDE is doing, you can do it inside VS Code. You just need a proper functioning extension that works, that properly works. It's fast. It has all the features and the harness that you need. And it's also not vendor locking you into a specific IDE like Cursor. That is where I also find Kilo AI, which is the sponsor of this video, to be extremely useful. Look at this. I just installed Kilo Code AI extension inside VS Code. And this provides you an extremely powerful harness. You don't even have to use VS Code's built-in AI, GitHub Copilot, any of that. All of that is not necessary if you are using something like Kilo AI. Kilo has actually done a complete rewrite of their VS Code extension after learning through all the things that they have seen in the market and bringing every single good part about every single thing that you see in the market inside a consolidated VS Code extension. Kilo is also a very popular VS Code extension used by about 1 million developers online. They also have a CLI which is built on Open Code Server. With their new rewrite, there are a lot of things possible now which were not possible before. For example, this parallel execution, where a main agent which is working on a problem can dispatch away like 3-4 agents, and all of them can work on their specific parts of code or research or whatever they have to do. Or this agent manager for which you will get different dedicated applications and tools that you would have to download. Again, the great part is that this is just an extension inside your VS Code, and that's all it is. You don't have to download anything new. You don't have to subscribe to anything else. It just works inside your existing VS Code IDE the way it is supposed to work. For those of you who also like to work with work trees, which is a slightly advanced concept, but it has become very popular now with AI agents, Kilo supports this natively. Let me actually show you some of these use cases, right? So the code base that I have right now is the EM Dash, which is Cloudflare's recent WordPress killer that I shared in a different video, so you can check it out. But the core idea with EM Dash is that it's a content management system, right? And this also gives us a perfect opportunity to present to Kilo for not only just understanding the code base, but if you watch that last video that I did on this EM Dash topic, you would have seen that I also pointed out a couple of bugs in that video. We can also see if Kilo is able to fix them or not. Kilo Code comes with a lot of free AI models as well. So you don't have to actually pay in order to use Kilo Code. It's completely free of cost. Install it, get started with it, and it's a very powerful harness. For my workflows, I usually stick to GPT 5.4 because I just have subscription, API keys, all of that. So I really like just using either GPT or Anthropic models generally. But if you don't want, you can also use Grok, you can also use Qwen, or you can use a bunch of these models over here, right? Any one of them which you want. So let's take Kilo for a spin. I'm going to send it a hey message and it responds, and I can just give it a task, right? Can you explain me the code base here? So see, while Kilo is actually working on our request, coming back to this, with Cursor, I am basically in a way locked into the Cursor ecosystem. That is one thing. The Cursor tax in a way, right? Compare that with Kilo. I can use my own API keys. It's also free to use. I can browse. If I have like some discounts or some offers that I have available from other AI providers, I can use that. Second of all, I feel is that Cursor AI models are expensive, because if I am going for a Claude model or an OpenAI GPT model, I would rather go for like a GPT subscription, and then I can link it with my Kilo AI model, Kilo AI subscription, and then I can use that GPT subscription via Kilo instead of doing it the Cursor way. Because when you are buying the Cursor $20 or a Cursor $60 or a $200 subscription, the thing is, I actually talk about this in a different video. Cursor, when they say that they are giving you, let's say $500 of usage in this $200 plan, they are actually making a lot of loss on this, right? If they are promising you something like Opus 4.6 or whatever. Because the thing is that for Cursor, for $200 plan, if they're promising you this much value, they are really paying Opus or Anthropic $500. If not 500, let's say, $450 or $400 with some discounts built in. So Cursor is indeed a loss-making company right now because they are subsidizing their cost in order to get you to use their product. And that is also what is the reason we see these fluctuations in pricing. So you would have seen, if you have used Cursor, that they sometimes change their pricing suddenly, right? That has happened in past. So that is one thing. The other thing, like I mentioned, is that I don't really use Cursor for all of its features that it has. I mainly use it because I need to see code in an IDE, and for that VS Code is good enough. And if I need to use AI for anything else beyond that, beyond even terminal, then I can look into something like Kilo Code. Let's see how good Kilo Code is, right? So because they have already mentioned that they have done a lot of rewrite and a lot of work on the building the harness part. There is a bug in the pages feature where if the post is not published, the preview button doesn't work. Gives me 404 not found when I click, right? So I'll just send the message. Let's see if it can find out. And as you can see, like it just dispatches agents to do a bunch of stuff. It also shows me the cost of my session, the context window, all of that over here. And it came back with a fix actually. It said I fixed the page preview bug in SRC pages, whatever this is. EM-preview URLs are generating using the content from ID, not necessarily the slug. The page route was always calling the pages slug. For unpublished pages, the preview URL can hit this, while the route slug may not match that's the actual lookup. I mean, the explanation sounds right, but since because I'm not actually aware about this code base at all, I don't really know if this is right or not. And because this is also not like a Git repository, I don't have the ability to do diffs right now. But the explanation it is given me looks valid, right? So see, the general argument here is not that Cursor is any bad or anything. I'm not saying that. It's a good enough product. But I just do feel, for example, I switched to Cursor right now. I just do feel that this is something that I don't really need a lot. And if I'm not wrong, like I actually customized Cursor a lot, right? So I made this on the sidebar, even though, you might not be able to tell, but this is actually Cursor. I made it look a lot like VS Code because that is what, I'm usually used to as well. But generally it's more about, just using VS Code because it's still much lighter than Cursor in terms of AI features and things. But I can always add things like Kilo AI and customize the level of complexity that I need. Plus, it's just one less subscription to manage, right? Among a plethora of subscriptions that I already have with AI tools these days. Plus, I mean, anything advanced that you want, like a state-of-the-art thing, you can still use that inside Kilo, right? For example, look at this agent manager that I just launched using this. And if I want like new work trees, like I was mentioning about, you can use that. We were doing this chat over here, but now you can launch like sort of like multiple sessions. You can go like crazy if you want to. So you can do all of this with a simple extension and while still keeping the simplicity of VS Code. So again, I'm reiterating, this is just something that works for me. I'm not saying that this is something that you would have the same experience with. I know a lot of Cursor fans are there and I don't mean to be disrespectful or disappoint you guys that Cursor is not good enough. I just feel that somewhere over the last couple of months and so, I just lost the need of using an IDE as powerful as Cursor. And I just figured out something a little more lightweight like VS Code, but with a combination of a CLI, a terminal agent like Kilo CLI, and an extension like Kilo AI just does the job really well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Do check out Kilo AI. I know a lot of people in my audience already know about Kilo Code and Kilo AI. And with the latest update with their VS Code extension, this becomes even better to use AI inside your VS Code. So that's all for this video. Hopefully you liked it and learned something new. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and do check out Kilo AI. They have done a lot of amazing work on their new VS Code extension release, which is super powerful, makes VS Code work like a charm, and it's the best out there. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in the next video very soon. If you're still watching, make sure you leave a comment, "I watched till the end" below to tell me that you were still here, and let me know what do you think about the video.